What if we ask you to name a Chinese company that quietly sitting among the world's top 20 most valuable businesses? Something that's bigger than Netflix, Coca-Cola, and even outranks MasterCard? We bet you have no idea. The name is Tencent.
The Chinese tech giant Tencent has reported a 90% increase in profits.
When American tech was growing through Microsoft and Google, this gaming company secretly took over everything without raising an alarm. It's got a piece of so many things you use every single day. It owns a big share of Epic Games, got stakes on your Reddit and Snapchat, invested in Discord and Ubisoft, and even held 5% of Tesla by rubbing shoulders with Elon Musk. And now, this Chinese tech giant is on the US government's radar, accused of messing with user data. In fact, the Department of Defense even labeled it a Chinese military company.
The US Department of Defense has added gaming giant Tencent to a list of firms allegedly aiding China's military.
So why now? Why don't we hear about it all the time like Apple, Google, or Amazon? What if that innocent-looking penguin is hiding something very dark? And how Tencent is controlling everything, still staying away from the limelight? Well, it all started back in November 1998 in Shenzhen, China. That's when a guy named Ma Huateng, also known as Pony Ma, and 4 of his friends, decided to start a company. They got a bit of help from American investors and kicked things off. Their first big success came in 1999 when they launched QQ, a messaging app. It took off like crazy in China and hit 1 million users in just 1 year. Then they launched WeChat in 2011, and that just changed everything. It became a part of daily life for people in China. It's not just for chatting. You can use it to pay for stuff, shop online, book appointments. It's like WhatsApp, PayPal, and Amazon rolled into one app, and it's used by over 1 billion people. But Tencent didn't stop there. Around 2012, they went all in on buying up companies, like a kid collecting rare trading cards. That year, they bought 92.8% of Riot Games, the team behind League of Legends, for $400 million. Then they picked up 40% of Epic Games for $330 million. You can relate to the name if you've spent hours playing Fortnite. And it didn't stop there. In 2013, they bought 5% of Activision Blizzard. Then by 2016, Tencent dropped $8.6 billion to grab 84.3% of Supercell, the minds behind Clash of Clans. In 2018, the Chinese gaming company again grabbed 5% of Ubisoft, which helped them to fight off a hostile takeover. In 2017, they even took a 12% stake in Snap Inc. And from 2017 to 2023, Tencent even held a 5% stake in Tesla. Yes, they were in on the Elon Musk game too. Well, did you just stop counting? Please don't, because we have 2 more names to say: Reddit and Discord. Yes, this is how Tencent moved quietly into the US market. Instead of making big flashy headlines, they slowly built their presence through gaming and social media investments, and after that, they just backed these 2 platforms, which gave them a solid spot in American tech, even without making any noise. And keeping things low is actually Pony Ma's style. He's known to be super private and low profile, and Tencent plays it smart. Staying quiet helps them avoid too much attention both in China, where the government keeps companies on a tight leash, and in the West, where people only have one job: banning Chinese tech firms. But now Tencent's getting noticed, and, obviously, not in a good way. The US government has started raising concerns about what Tencent is really doing with all the data it collects. Legally, Tencent has to keep a Chinese Communist Party branch inside the company. That's part of the rules for big companies in China. But this has raised a lot of red flags, especially in the US. Back in 2016, Amnesty International called out Tencent for how it handles user privacy. Both WeChat and QQ got slammed with a 0 score, meaning they didn't do much to protect people's data. That might have been just a red flag at the time, but things kept building up. Then came 2019. Tencent invested $150 million into Reddit, and people weren't happy. Reddit users, who love their open talk and crazy memes, started panicking. Many feared Tencent's money could lead to censorship or even spying, since Tencent is so closely tied to China. Those worries got louder when, in 2020, then President Trump tried to ban WeChat completely. He called it a national security threat because of how much user data it collects. You see, Tencent doesn't just make apps. It owns pieces of companies that millions of Americans use every day. From Fortnite and Snapchat to Clash of Clans and Discord, it's everywhere. And that's what really started making US officials nervous. With all that access to American users, what they say, what they search, what they play, it's not just about privacy anymore. It's about control. By January 2025, things reached a boiling point. The Pentagon officially labeled Tencent a Chinese military company. That's a serious tag, and it means the US believes Tencent could be helping China's government through its tech. One big reason? If the Chinese government wants data, companies are expected to hand it over. That's what worries the US, that all this data could be used for more than just ads or recommendations. After that big announcement from the Pentagon, things triggered a chain reaction. In just one trading day, Tencent's stock fell by 7.3%. That might not sound huge at first, but in Tencent's case, it meant over $35 billion in market value vanished overnight. And while the Pentagon's decision didn't ban Tencent from operating in the US, it did block any future contracts with the federal government starting in 2026. That kind of move makes investors jittery and has already scared off some business partners. Still, Tencent isn't going anywhere. As of April 2025, it's still worth more than $600 billion and remains one of the biggest names in global gaming. League of Legends, Clash of Clans, and a long list of other titles keep the money rolling in, and they're not slowing down. Tencent is now putting a lot of focus on AI, especially its Hunyuan model, and its WeChat mini-games are pulling in around 400 million users every month. But the road ahead looks tricky. With China's strict rules, rising tension with the US, and fast-growing competitors like ByteDance, Tencent's walking a very fine line. It wants to lead the future of gaming and tech, but it's got to deal with government pressure, trade restrictions, and a growing trust problem. In short, Tencent's juggling a lot. It's still massive, still profitable, and still deeply embedded in digital life across the world. But it's also dealing with suspicion, political friction, and an increasingly watchful eye from governments and users alike. That cute little penguin logo? It might still make you smile, but behind it, Tencent is navigating some of the toughest waters it's ever faced, and we might only be seeing the beginning of what's to come.